Hello and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Business. I'm Joey Trombley, and on the camera is the founding father himself, Calvin Castine, and today is Election Day 2013. It's November 5th, 2013, and we are in Altona, and Calvin is looking at the windmills out yonder here, but we're at the Donnie and Anne-Marie Mahony Fix-It-Up shop here in Altona at the end of the Monty Road. And so as Calvin brings the camera around here, I got Anne-Marie here to my left and Donnie, and thank you for letting us come to your property today. And you know, the show started a couple years ago. It was a thought of Calvin to promote small business in the North Country and to let people know who's here, because a lot of times people don't know who's around, and to keep the business local. And quite frankly, I didn't know you guys were up here on the dead end road, and this is nice because we get a lot of exposure here, and I think you guys will like the exposure. But tell us a little bit about yourself, and of course, Anne-Marie, I know you from the Perry's Mills days here.
Right.
So kind of tell you who you are and your parents. And
Okay, I'm Anne-Marie Mahony. I used to be a Bulrus. My mom and dad used to live in Champlain on the Webduba Road. Clifford and Jane Bulrus. They now live and reside in Moores Forks. Getting up there in age. My dad's 88, my mom's 84, but still doing well, still spry and
nice.
very nice.
Yeah, I know it was a big farm there in Perry's Mills.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. They sold it years ago. Actually, I think Calvin filmed that years ago when they had the auction.
Yeah, when they had, oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that show. That's right. I remember that. And then Donnie, you obviously you're an Altona regular here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, born and raised right here. Yeah, this was a farm also. So
you come from a big family too.
Yep, big family, absolutely.
How many brothers and sisters?
3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay.
One brother had passed away years ago in a farming accident.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this is actually the farm right here.
So this is all the family farm here.
Yes.
Okay. And now, you said your mom just still lives right over there.
My mom still lives right there.
Now, is that where you were brought up?
Yes, right there. I didn't get far.
You didn't go far at all.
That's actually where his business started.
Yes,
on
I started
a small
my business
garage.
over there.
Okay.
Yes, I had a one bay garage. I was in there 10 years.
Now, how many years now has the family been out of the farming business?
Oh, geez. What year did we sell the cows?
Probably 25 years, probably.
25 years. Now, when you sold the cattle, did you decide to open up the repair shop at that time?
Well, actually, you start off on the farm fixing whatever's broke, and then it turned out you had the neighbors that needed something fixed, and then friends of the neighbors, and then friends of the friends of the neighbors. So it just kind of started like that, a little at a time. So,
So you kind of self-taught then?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right. So you didn't go to like CV Tech for that, or
No,
or BOCES at the
just
time?
basically just
Self-taught.
learn
Self-taught.
learn
I
hard
learned
way.
that as
Yeah.
he would work on the farm in the afternoon and do at night work in the garage.
Wow.
That's kind of how he
Yes,
started.
I got
into it.
started, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's
And then I worked
definitely
for Shazy Orchards for 7 years,
Okay.
pruning trees. I did that, and then I worked for a year at Broderick Motors in Plattsburgh
okay.
on the big trucks, but it got too busy. I'd work down there and then have 1 car at night to work on, and then it was 2 cars at night, and then it was 3 cars at night, and
So word
there
got
wasn't
out
much
quickly.
time for sleep.
So word got out quickly.
So yeah,
And
basically.
then his dad needed help on the farm, so
Yeah.
he came back to help on the farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then how many years have you been doing strictly your repair shop?
We started in 88,
88, I think.
88, I
Yes.
believe.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. So you,
And then we built
been
this
here a long
shop
time.
in.
Yes.
Yeah,
we built. He started up there in '88, and then we built this shop in '94.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you start out with 12 bays when you built this shop, or is this like the main bay, then you added on? to the-
Well, that's all just storage on that side. So
Okay.
the main garage is right here. Yeah. As far
Okay.
as that goes.
We
I
started
went for,
with the size that it is right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
right here, then that was an add-on after?
We added
Added
on
on
that
afterwards, yes.
afterwards.
Okay.
So, but like I said, it was in a one bay garage up there. It was actually an old woodshed, and went up changing motors and transmissions, and had to walk sideways down the side of the car because there wasn't enough room to pull anything out of it. It was very small.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but,
So a few years after we were married, we decided to make it easier for him, a little bit bigger.
So now the storage is just strictly for your own storage, or
yes.
the 10
Yeah,
bays
just
there?
We're into old Chryslers, and we've been
Okay.
collecting for years.
Okay. So how many old Chryslers do you have right now?
Probably 30.
Oh, wow.
Summer project.
Summer projects,
Summer
yeah, they're not all
project cars,
complete.
yeah.
But yeah, as
Right.
if you look around, there's quite a few around here.
Yeah.
But yeah, my grandfather's dump truck is still there. That's a 1947, still runs.
Really?
We still use it. 1947, still runs.
Still
Oh,
use
yeah.
it, okay.
Yeah, and we haul wood with a 62 Dodge is over there somewhere, and there's a couple other ones around, old power wagons, and a little smidgen of Volkswagen. My kids learn to drive on a 59 Volkswagen Bug. It's right over there. 6 volt. Yeah, they learn how to drive in the fields.
Standard.
You started with standard.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we should have
Absolutely.
all started our kids with standard. I mean, that's how I learned how to drive. But
Same with us.
now
I always said people should learn how to drive standard first.
Yeah.
Because anybody can drive an automatic, but if you're at a party sometime and somebody's hurt and there's the car and you don't know how to drive, you could have get that person to the hospital
Right.
if you only knew how to drive a standard.
Right.
So I teach my kids to start with standard. Then they can drive automatic after that if they want to.
Sure. And they probably most do. Because you
Yeah,
don't see too
a
many
little bit of-
standards around anymore.
Well, my son's driving one right there. That's a 1966 Dodge Dart, 3-speed in the column. Three-speed monkey shift, they call
The
that.
one with the white top
With the white hat
Yeah.
splash. That's a 66. And the other one alongside it's a 72. Also 3-speed in the column.
So obviously, between your taking care of the customers, is there any time to work on your love of the Chryslers?
Well, it slows down after Christmas. People are broke, and that's why we get to play a little bit with our own stuff. But most of the time, it keeps us busy here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're busy. These are all customers' cars right here. The
All right.
stack right here is customer cars.
So I guess you pretty much do basically everything then.
Pretty much everything except paint and body work. We
Okay.
don't do body work, but we change motors, transmissions, clutches, brake jobs, pretty much anything that makes them go and stop.
Now, is that the older cars? Or do you also work on the newer cars
right
too?
up to the brand new ones, yeah.
So now I know, of course, the newer cars are all computerized and
Oh,
stuff.
yes, much harder to work
And
on.
so, do you have the equipment to
Yes,
diagnose?
yes, you have to keep upgrading that all
Okay.
the time. Yep. Yeah, scan tools and whatever. So, but
Yeah, and that's that's always
you're never
changing.
bored.
That's always changing.
And constantly, yeah. You get a few years in on the cars, and then you have to upgrade when the newer cars start getting older and people
So you
need
just
those
have to
worked on.
upgrade the software? Is that
The
what
software,
it is?
Yeah, pretty much the software,
yeah.
yeah.
Little chips or
Not
whatever.
so much the equipment per se.
Every now and then you
Every
do.
once in a while,
They only go so
yes,
far,
yes.
and then you have to buy new
Yeah,
equipment,
'cause-
and then start with your software from there.
Now, have you seen like the evolution of tools as the years have gone
Oh,
by?
yeah.
to
You
work
never
on the
have enough
vehicles?
tools.
Yeah.
Never.
So is that like when the I don't know, like Snap-on and those people stop by?
Well, that's
and-
it. You have to constantly upgrade your tools depending on what vehicles come in,
Right.
and you never have the right tools. It appears to be that way.
So now, obviously, you're the hands-on guy. I'm assuming doing the work.
Yep.
And Amory, do you take care of the books? And
Yes.
Paperwork and the customers paying the bills and running for parts.
now,
and-
do you set his schedule up for the day?
No, because he pretty much knows what he can fit in. If he has a brake job, he knows he can do something else, and depending on how long everything takes. So he always overbooks, but he tries to fit everybody in that's broken.
Sure. So if somebody calls and they need something done, you just pass them off to Donnie.
Well, he usually picks up the phone. It rings
Oh,
in the
you-
house and in the
It rings
garage.
Yeah, house
Okay.
and garage. So we catch most phone calls.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but we get most phone calls actually when most shops close down. I know it sounds strange, but we get more calls after 5 o'clock
Really?
and Saturdays. Yeah, yeah, it's a little crazy, but because the phone rings in the house in the shop, we try not to miss a call.
Right. Well, that's good business.
It's part of the business.
But it gets crazy. It
Well,
gets
it
crazy.
can get crazy. Of course, it can.
I had supper, I think, 2 weeks ago at 1:45 in the morning on a Saturday night. That's when I got out of the shop.
You're trying to get someone's car done that needed it to do a
Wow.
run.
That's not a normal day for you, though.
He's out here sometimes
as-
12, 15 hours. A lot of it, though, is
Wow.
like customer relation, I guess you have to say. People show up and they'll,
You have
eat away at the
conversations.
times. And,
Sure.
there's nothing you can do about that.
But that's just
That's part of the
customer
business.
relations,
There
right?
you go.
It's
And all our business, I got to say, is pretty much word of mouth. Is pretty much it. We don't really advertise too much the Altona
No.
Fire Department. And,
Right, we help them with their calendar drive.
Sure.
Right.
But it's usually somebody said, well, somebody told me to go refers.
Well, I mean, after 25 years, I'm sure it's a lot of repeat business, but I'm sure now it's your customers' kids
Oh yeah.
that are coming, and probably their
Absolutely.
kids.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
So you have generations of people
Oh, yeah.
showing up here.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing. But it's got to be tough when you're trying to work and the phone rings, you stop what you're doing, then you lose focus of what
Yes.
you're doing to pick up the phone.
Yes.
You know,
That is
and,
tough.
and then you got to get your head back into it again. Else, and the phone rings again. So I
Yeah.
can see where that would be.
Yeah.
It's a little distracting, but he's pretty good. He knows, pretty much what he's doing.
Most of the time.
Most
Most
of the time. It looks that way anyway.
It's all done with mirrors.
So I assume you do a lot of oil changes and
Yes.
inspections.
We don't
Brake work?
inspect. We have
No
to-
inspections,
No
okay.
inspections. No, we know what the inspectors. I work with the inspectors around here. I know what they need. They'll tell me if there's changes, what has to be done now. So we get them ready for inspection. When they leave here, they'll go right through.
Okay.
So
A lot of brake work, I'm
a
assuming.
lot of brake work, a lot of rusted brake lines. With the calcium that's on the roads nowadays, we get a lot of stuff that's rotting off cars constantly. newer cars that you would be surprised. Brake lines,
Just a
gas
few years
lines,
old,
gas.
yes,
Yeah,
so.
a few years old.
Really?
Yes, there's a pile of brake lines right there. It just came off a 2003 Chevy Silverado. Rotted right out from one end to the other. There's 8 hours of brake lines right there. There's over 50 feet of line on that truck.
Wow.
And that's common now. That's common place. And there's transmission line sitting there off another one. That's another 04, 05. And that rusted out also. So we just did an 07 Chevy Trailblazer.
Right.
Transmission lines were
Transmission
rotted.
lines, right.
And transmission
Yes.
fluid was all underneath the truck and up the back
Yes.
door.
He,
Now-
he does
So-
transmissions. He'll, take a transmission out, put a transmission, a motor out, a motor in,
Yeah,
take
we
it up
just-
to the
we just
machine
put a
shop.
motor in this little Honda right here, fella, from over your way.
Okay. All right.
A Timmins.
Okay.
Timmins.
All
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we just put a motor in that little Honda for him, and they get all kinds of stuff. This one just got dragged in. This white Ford right here, it doesn't run at all. So that was just sold to Jerry Davis's son. So and this one we just put all new. Was it brake lines on that one, right? I believe on that one. That was brake and gas tank. Brought it out on that one.
So you do all the work. Nobody is in here helping you with
Well,
the
she helps
mechanical
me.
work.
I go
Yeah,
help
So,
him a bit.
so
yeah.
you get on there too.
Yeah. That,
So
Yeah.
you do the oil changes
Yeah,
and
whatever-
Pretty much most of the time, like bleeding brakes.
bleeding brakes,
That's
turn a key, take it for a test drive, whatever he needs help with.
And she runs for parts.
And a lot of running for parts.
lot.
Lot of parts.
And a lot of book work.
So they don't deliver the parts. You go and get
They
the
will.
parts.
They will. They are very good about delivering. But like I say, sometimes the customer's really anxious to get his car back, and sometimes you just got to go get that part.
You just
Right.
go.
You
you just
can't
have
sit around and wait
Yeah.
for a
okay.
part to be delivered.
Right.
So a lot of times we need it now because we got the
Because
next
you
one
got
in
three
line.
other cars waiting to get in the shop. So
Right.
the deal is to get it back to the customers as fast as possible.
You sit around, you're not making money.
Well, yeah, time is money, right?
Right.
So did you learn your skill from the farm when you were growing up on the
A
farm?
little bit from the farm, but mostly just osmosis, just being here and hearing all the stories and everything,
Right.
You just learn as you go.
And working by the best.
And you betcha.
I knew that bride would pay off someday.
No, he's a good mechanic. Yeah, he does very well.
Well, obviously you're doing something well. You've been here 25 years.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And there's not enough time in the day, it sounds like.
No,
I'm surprised you
definitely
find time for us to come do the show today.
No, we just take a little break every
We'll just
now
back
and
the
then.
car out so you can come in. And we'll bring it right back in
and
again
the
when
answering
you're gone.
machine's on, so.
So, but we have 5 kids. So
Okay.
I say.
Are any involved with the business?
Well, not yet. My oldest son was going to be a
He was
history.
going for history or
teacher.
teacher, but he decided just recently
He's
that
got
he
the
really
bug,
he's bought an old car that he's been working on, and now he's thinking about going to Canton for automotive tech.
Geez, I wonder where that would have came from.
I don't know.
How old is your oldest?
Yes, he's
Yes.
21.
21. Okay, so
21.
he's just going through the college
Right,
ranks here.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
he's
then
going
we
to
have-
transfer up there.
And then we have the second son, Ryan, is heavily into music.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's down here in Plattsburgh
Yes.
State, taking piano and he
Right,
plays
he's in-
slide trombone. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll be in a musical this coming week and the weekend.
Oh,
over the
really? At
weekend,
Plattsburgh State?
At Plattsburgh State,
Oh,
playing
nice.
piano. Yeah,
Yeah.
very
And,
nice.
and what's the musical?
I can't remember the
Okay.
name of it. Yeah,
That's all right.
He
I've
does-
lost it right
he
now.
does a lot of different places. They play down Oliver Wrigley's and
Right,
Iris's and.
So he's very talented with his hands, just in a different way.
Just in a
right,
different
right.
way, right,
And then
correct.
our daughter, we have one daughter, and she's out in Canton taking vet tech, and she loves it. Other than the chemistry, chemistry's
So she's
eating
what,
up
a
her life.
freshman?
She's
Freshman at Canton.
She's a freshman at
yes,
Canton,
yeah,
okay.
Canton.
Freshman at
And
Canton.
I'm just
then,
trying to figure the kids as you're going down in
yes,
college.
Yeah,
Okay.
21, 19, 18,
Yeah.
a
Okay.
16, and a 13. So
Okay.
And,
two are still in high school.
Yeah, my
Okay.
fourth one, Sean, is interested in forensics and
Oh, wow.
CSI work,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. He's very interested in that. And then Casey's a little guy. He's 13.
He's
And-
not sure yet.
Oh, yeah. That's
Video
fine.
games.
Now, are the two in high school, are they playing sports at all?
No,
No.
we don't have time to run the kids to sports.
Yeah.
We're so busy
And
with the business
Sure.
that they never really got into
We make
that.
them cut wood.
Yes, we give
That's
them
good
plenty of
workout.
exercise.
That's good work.
That's a good work.
That'll
Now,
work.
now that's an old farmer's work ethic right
Oh,
there.
you betcha. There's a pile sitting out back that they know is still there. And all has to be put in before the snow. So
Yeah,
they know
well,
that.
That's coming
So
soon.
That's
Yeah,
coming
couple
very
days,
soon.
yeah.
I was up
Yeah.
in Shazy Lake yesterday, and there's snow on the ground up there.
Yeah, I
just
know.
just covering, and
Yeah,
it's not
Saturday
any
Lime
accumulation.
Mountain had
for-
an inch
can
and a
keep
half.
it.
Doesn't work that way.
but actually, here we are today, November 5th. It's not bad out
No,
here today.
not bad today.
This
Not
isn't a bad
so,
day at all.
no.
So we've had a nice fall.
Yep. So far, so good.
So far, so good. So anything else that you want to bring up around here on the outside now? is that a working furnace right now for the shop?
No, actually, that was the furnace that was in the shop, and it cracked. We got 5 years out of it, so we had to replace it. In fact, here comes the customer now.
That's what you're in business for.
So, yeah, it's constantly got cars coming up the driveway. It's all hours of the day and night.
Yeah,
so
well, this is
normal stuff.
This is a live show right now, Calvin, right? This is live. So that cracks. You put a new one inside.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
put a
we-
new one. It's an outside furnace on the back side of that shed over there. So
And that heats your shop.
that
And the
heats
house.
the shop and the house.
It does
Yes.
both of them.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We dug
Yes.
a tunnel. kind
We
of
dug a
Okay.
ditch underneath.
all the way
Yeah,
underneath there
and the kids
with the
dug
kids.
underneath it, 20 feet underneath that building, 6 feet down.
with jackhammers.
Really?
Yes. It was very interesting.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
A few years ago.
That was a good workout.
Oh yeah.
there you go.
Oh,
No
yeah.
sports, but plenty of
So
work.
yeah. So now to heat both places, how many face cords would you go, or full cords?
Well, like I say, this year we're trying something different. We just bought some hardwood from a fellow up towards Chattagay, Jake Helm. So we've got a new furnace and we've got all hardwood this year. So we're not really sure how it's going to work out. We'll tell you better next year. We'll know better.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So-
Anything else you want to talk about out here before we go inside?
Unless there's any other questions you got, I think that's pretty
Calvin,
much
any
it.
questions for out here?
Nothing out here.
All right, we're gonna go inside.
Okay, sounds good. Let me just.
Yeah.
You're
Go,
off.
no, go. Yeah, you're out. You're good.
We'll see.
We're back inside here, and off camera we have some nice stories going on here. But when we were talking, we never did mention all the kids' names.
All the name. Okay, Patrick's the oldest. He's 21, and then Ryan's 19, and Megan is 18. Sean is 16, and Casey is 13. There's
Okay.
4 boys, 1 girl, right smack in the middle.
Okay, so we wanted to make sure we got their names on the camera
There you
here.
go.
But we're in the place where all takes place here, is right here in this bay. Now I know you have like 3 bays, but all takes place in this bay.
That's pretty much the
So
idea.
what's the story on that? Why is it just in this bay and not the other 2 bays?
Well, like I say, what we try to do is get the vehicles in and out. You can run both bays, but I'm only one guy. So the only advantage is that you take one apart, wait for parts, and then get back on the other bay. But most of the time, we try to get them back
the
to
real
people.
story.
Tell the real story. The real story is like try to keep my cars inside.
I was hoping the real story was going to come out because that was not the story I heard off camera. Now, Calvin and Marie made a suggestion to you, like the bay over here, and actually with the camera, I don't think Calvin can get it, but there's actually 2 cars on this side.
Right.
That we thought it'd be a great idea if you kept that bay open so you could do the oil changes and stuff while he's working on the equipment.
Absolutely, but no way. He loves to keep his cars inside. I've even talked about adding a bay on, but no way, because there'll be just 2 more cars in there.
So what
She
you're
knows me well.
so what you're saying is the 10 bays over there is already full of cars.
Oh, fully can't put another piece in there.
Okay. So
If we
and,
could, we would.
and, and Murphy's Law is if you make more storage, you'll fill it up.
You betcha. You
Okay.
betcha.
So-
She owns a tractor trailer back right now for
Right.
more stuff.
For more stuff.
Her stuff, though.
Yes, we're hoarders. Secret hoarders.
Your orders. No,
He has a big equipment hoarder.
That's collectors to you.
collectors. Now, we come in here, I said, like Time Warp. God, I miss seeing those type of phones. You actually have like an old-fashioned phone back there.
Absolutely. He kept dropping the phone, hanging it up quickly, and dropping it into the garbage, which is right underneath. So I looked high and low, Amazon. Thank you, Amazon.
And you found it.
I found a phone
Boy, a
that actually
throwback
hangs
phone.
up. That hangs up
And hangs up and stays
and
there.
stays there.
And it has a black cord.
Yes, there's a black cord,
Wow.
yes.
And it's not cordless.
And it's not cordless. It's like, wow. And you can still talk to people.
Absolutely,
Yeah, all day
unbelievable.
long.
Yeah.
How did we ever survive years back, right?
I don't know.
Now you're going to tell me next you still have a party line.
Oh, no, but we did have one.
We did.
We
They
did.
don't allow that
Oh,
anymore.
yes, we did.
Otherwise, we probably still would.
Absolutely did. Yes, indeed.
I'm just trying to introduce him now into cell phones.
Cell phones.
Yeah, because,
Good luck.
otherwise when he leaves, I'm going for a test drive, I'm not back in 15 minutes, come looking for me, here's a phone. So finally now he
She
has a
knows where I'm
phone.
going, so.
I've
So
been
you actually
looking-
do have a phone.
Well, I do now, yes, I do. But
I assume-
before then, it was just, you know where I am, go looking for me.
So I
I'm not
assume it's
back
like them little flip-up phones.
It is a flip-flop
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
It's
Tell them
actually,
about your phone.
mine looks like a walkie-talkie, it's so old. It's a cell phone, but,
Well, when I started, it was a bag phone. Back in the day,
Oh,
when they first
yes.
came out, you had a bag in your car, and you had to actually have them installed in the vehicle.
correct.
So you didn't carry them around; you just had them in your car. So for like what you were talking about,
Okay.
if you had a call, you could call somebody.
Right, right.
But those have gone by the wayside of DOS computers. You know,
There
it is-
you go.
It's
There
just.
you go.
But that's how I started using phones. It was a bag phone.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. It still had a black
we are
cord.
dating
Shows your
ourselves.
age.
Yeah, I am. It still had a black cord.
What's-
Just installed in the car. That's all. All right. So this is where all takes place right here.
Yep, this is the place right here. We built the shop where my old shop was. It just happened that I didn't have any windows in that old woodshed, and it turned out to be a good thing because we find a lot of bad spark plug wires because it can make it totally dark in here. So when I built the shop, I built this with no windows in it on purpose. If I shut all the lights off in here, it's like midnight.
Okay.
So we can run the engines in the dark and find electrical problems, actually just watching the plug wires. And we also built it with one door there with one right behind here. We get a lot of dead vehicles in, especially in the wintertime. So what we do is we just tow right straight through.
Smart idea.
Makes it easier.
So-
Easier
so-
on the kids that have to push them.
So you actually, when you designed this, you designed all this with that in mind.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Cause,
Now, did you get the idea from just something you just thought made sense to do it that way?
Well, in the old shop that I had up at my mom's house up there, I had to devise a winch system to pull the cars in, especially in the wintertime. When you have 6-8 inches of snow, cars don't push very well.
Right.
So, and it was uphill into the shop. So I rigged up a 4,000-pound winch with a cable that I'd pull them in, but it was slow. So this shop, when I built it, I figured, well, we could a lot quicker driving through.
And then, and where'd you get the thought process of no windows in the shop so you could?
Like I say, that was pretty much just
From
because my
experience.
old shop didn't have any windows, and it just was handy to be able to find some of the problems that other shops weren't finding. Mm-hmm. So, but nowadays things have changed. Now we have coil-on plug ignition systems, so they've changed. Not so much distributor caps and rotors and wires and stuff like that. But like I say, it works for me.
Right.
So-
It works. Now, to be clear, you had started back in '88 where your mom lives now, or where you
Yes.
grew up as a kid.
Yes.
And then it was in '94 that you built this shop.
We built the shop, yes.
Okay.
Yes. We built it ourselves. We built the shop. We built the shed over there. We built the house. Pretty much everything here, I guess.
Pretty much everything by ourselves.
You guys
Yeah.
did this by yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
So
She had
you-
pretty good arms on her by the end of the summer.
So you were building this, so you'd work during the day working on vehicles, and in the
Yes.
after hours come
Right.
work on the shop.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
Exactly.
So then, well, it must have taken a while to build the shop then, doing it that way.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
We actually, if you look, we never even finished the inside. We started back working and never even covered this.
We wanted to line the inside with steel for fire reasons, so it's still on the
Back burner.
horizon.
Bucket list.
Yeah, on the bucket
To-
list.
to list,
Yeah,
bucket
exactly.
list, whatever.
But,
Okay.
there's always something that has to be done. There's not enough hours in the day.
Okay.
There just never is.
Well, there's not. I mean, other than body work, there's nothing that you can't handle.
Pretty much, yeah. Other than body work, I did my attempt of that, but I'm no good at it. So that we farm out. That we farm out. So, but yeah, as far as anything makes them go or stop, we get all kinds of problems in here.
Okay.
People
The
call me up.
lifts make it really handy too, because in
Yes.
his old shop, all he had was a jack and jack stands.
Oh, wow.
On his
Yeah.
back most of the time.
Yes, well, the wood stove in the shop. So
Right.
it was so hot in the front of the cars that you had to worry about melting the grill, and it was so cold at the back of the car that the wrenches would freeze into the floor. So
This was definitely a step up.
Now, I found it quite interesting off camera that you had mentioned. Of course, you got your little toy right here.
yep.
But you race cars.
Yes, we drag race.
You
we
drag
don't do
race.
we don't do oval racing like down in Plattsburgh. We drag race up in Canada, Naperville.
Naperville, right?
At Naperville, yes.
So
yes,
you ever
we drag-
dragged race against Jim Trombley and the
Jim
Montesa?
Trombley's
and the Montesa?
Montesa is a good friend of mine. Yeah, Jim Trombley's a very good friend of mine. In fact, the top of that engine, the second engine over there, is Jim's.
Oh, it is.
That top right there is actually off of Jim's car right there.
Jim
Okay.
comes up often to visit. Nice guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jim's my neighbor.
Oh, is he?
So-
That's
okay.
right. He
So-
was
yes.
spoken
Yeah.
of you.
So I'm well aware of the Montesa.
And it's noise.
Actually, we went up there. I've been up there once to watch the drag races. It's pretty cool.
It is
Yes,
very
it's
cool.
a lot of fun.
Trying to
It's a lot of
understand
fun.
it because, well, you're kind of guessing your time. Is that how that works?
Yeah, what you do is you go up early and you make time trials. And what you do is you run your car as hard as you can. You make some changes, tire changes, whatever you want to do, adjust your timing, jet the carburetor, whatever you want to do. And then you see what the car will run for that day. And then you write that time on your window. And then the idea is to run as quick as you can to that time without going faster than that time. If you go faster than that time on the window, it's called a breakout. So the only thing that saves you is if the other fella in the other lane breaks out worse than you
So
do.
you really aren't racing against the other person.
Right.
Pretty much it's
You're-
yourself.
yeah,
You're just
And
doing
you
it
take a
yourself.
Pretty much
guesstimate of what
against
you're
yourself.
gonna,
Yes.
what you are going to run,
Yes,
and
it's very interesting.
Well, yeah, of course, when I'm sitting there, I'm going, oh, here's a race, and I'm going, oh, this guy beat that guy, and it's like,
he used to
no.
race this one, but it twists the car an awful lot, and he really likes that car. So does a lot to the body. So that's why he started building this one.
That car up there is 556 horsepower. That ran 1107, 124 miles an hour and a quarter. That's what that one runs. This one here will have 750 horse. This should run 10.0 flat, 136 miles an hour.
136 miles an hour.
136, yep. Jim, as you just said, just ran a 908, 148 miles an hour. He's 920 horsepower.
With the Montesa.
With
the Montesa?
Yes.
So he,
No nitrous, no
So he-
cheater. It's all on the engine.
really?
That's one big bad 440 in there.
Whoa.
Well, he's had to upgrade the brakes. He's got Woolworths all around on it. Absolutely, yes, indeed.
Now,
Yeah.
how often do you guys go up racing in Naperville?
Well, I haven't gone in a couple of years because what I did is I was racing this car, and we were up back a few years ago, and there was a fella, very good drag racer out of Montreal. His name's Philip, and he had a beautiful '74 Duster, and he was running a 360 in it, and it was running 1260s, which is slower than what I'm running. And he was running against a fellow from Champlain, and as I said before, you can't run faster than the time on your window. So he must have thought he was running a little too quick. Well, when he squeezed on the brakes, his car made an immediate left, went into the fella's door, bounced off that guy's door, and then rolled the car down the track, totaled it, totaled the car. He did win the race, but he totaled the car out. So I was there with Jim Trombley and Jody Barber, and when we both kind of discussed that my car was running faster and it's heavier. So should something like that happen, I'd be a hurting turkey. So at that point, I had this car, the '69 Outback. This was my cousin Alan Monte's car, and we decided to make this into the drag car, and this one has a roll cage, and we're going with more of the safety stuff. So
Okay.
that's why I haven't run in a couple of years, is because now I'm trying to build another car to go up with a safer
And
car.
it takes a bit of money, and with 3 kids in college,
Oh, sure.
that takes a bit of money.
Yeah, it does.
So a lot of hours of work to try to
So
get
this
everything
just
done.
happened a couple years ago then.
Yes, it's a couple of years ago that
So
that
did anybody
fella-
get hurt in that accident?
He wasn't too bad. I mean, he had a little blood coming out of his ear, but all he was concerned was whether he won the race or not, and he had.
So obviously he survived.
He always survived it, but his car didn't.
Yeah.
So that's right then there. We kind of decided that maybe we better build a safer car. So not a quicker car, but a safer car.
Right.
So hopefully we'll have both, quicker car
Right.
and a safer car.
Now, I spend years since I've been up there. How big do the crowds get there for that?
Oh, it depends.
quite a following,
they
right?
do, yes. And in fact, if they run a street class, the place is very packed. You can run up in Naperville for $5 if you have a street car, and they get 1,500 cars sitting there.
Because you could run your
'Cause
car, any car,
Any car.
any car you want.
Oh,
Any car
wow.
at all. Yeah. So they get a good crowd, and they'll run on a Wednesday night. And street class can run like Wednesday and Friday, and then they mix them in with us on Saturday and Sunday. We're in a center class, which is called semi-pro, and we're only allowed to run Saturday and Sunday
Okay.
because they're a bit louder and a bit noisier. So the crowd, the people next door, I guess, don't like the noise too late in the night.
Yeah, well, I can understand that.
So.
Because it does get loud.
Oh yes.
Now, do they wear earplugs there too, the fans?
Oh, yeah, some of them do, but most of them they love the noise.
They love that.
They're there for the thrill. So they're there for the thrill. But it's a good time. It's a good time. And being I don't do body work, there's a lot less body damage than in circle track racing.
Mm-hmm.
Circle track, there's a lot of body contact. So you're constantly pounding your car back out. With drag racing, it's only 2 cars at a time.
Right.
And it's an absolute no-no to go in the other lane.
Sure.
So you lose the race, absolutely. So
Now,
you're not trying to go in the
Does
other
Jody
lane.
still race too?
Jody's still running, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he runs a '62 Chevy. Yeah, he's right now 900 horsepower also. So, and he's still running Barber's Body Shop down there in
That's
Shazy.
right.
Yep.
That's right, up in Shazy, yeah.
Yep.
So there's definitely a subculture here.
Oh yes.
On the racetrack.
Oh
You
yes.
betcha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's our fun stuff.
Well, as I said, I mean, both your face just broke into smiles, so it's obvious it's a love,
we
love for you
that.
guys.
We love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, I think it's great that you're doing what you love to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, from the racing to working on the cars to
He just
collecting
loves it,
cars, and
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get up in the morning, I don't think you say, "I got to go to work today." It's just part of who
You're
you
never
are.
bored, I can tell you that.
It's who you
Yeah,
are.
Yeah. The only thing is your feet hurt after a while. Standing on cement all day.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
Yeah, well,
So it's good to sit down once in a while.
yeah, I'm sure it is. Now, Calvin, I know you wanted to take a glance over at the other side just to see what was in there as far as the 10 bays that are full of cars.
Yes.
Correct.
So, you want to head over there, Calvin? Do you have any questions before we head over there?
No, just remind people the name of the place and the phone number.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank God that Donnie and Anne Marie gave me a card. It's the Fix 'em Up shop, and it's at 201 Monty Road, Altona, New York. And if you want to reach them, and they do have an old-fashioned phone that works, it's 236-6160, 236-6160. I'm sure they're busy, but they'll always take people on. You're always looking for business. There's no guarantees, so they'll take any. I'm sure you'll still look for new customers.
Oh yeah, we don't turn anybody away.
You don't turn
Don't turn
anybody
anybody
away.
away, absolutely.
Okay, so that's how you'd reach them. I know here, Calvin. Here's a card if you want to key in on that card, and that's a picture of one of your cars.
Well, I bought in 1974.
I'm sure it's still here somewhere,
It still runs.
and it still runs. And before we go over there, I just want to quickly make an appeal to Hometown Cable. If you'd like to make a donation and you enjoy this type of programming, and we hope that you do, you can make a donation to 1477 Ridge Road in Champlain, New York, 12919. Or actually, you can go to hometown.cablenetwork.com, and he'll post this show tonight. It'll be posted. And you can make a donation there through the PayPal account. And Calvin is not supported by the federal government. He's not supported by state government. It is all viewer supported and business supported. And if you can make a donation, especially as we approach the holiday season, the time of giving, and to show your appreciation to Calvin for what he has done for 30 plus years here in the North Country. He has evolved into something really, really big. He has captured the heritage of the people of the North Country, and this show here will be a hometown memory for you and your children as the years go on. And so if you can send a donation, Calvin will definitely appreciate it. And then we'll get off camera here, and we're going to head off to the other side. I'm sure we're in for a treat to go over there too. Well, we made it outside, and Donnie was very gracious to open the doors here to show us his collection of vehicles. And as he said, Anne Marie said, that they can see that they're closet hoarders here. See all their stuff there. But we want to also, if you look them up in the phone book, you won't find them under the Fix 'em Up shot. It will actually be under Donnie Mahoney. That's how you'll find them in the phone book. And this is Donnie and Anne Marie, as you know, and it's just been a wonderful show here today. And thank you for opening your doors, because you're obviously very, very busy. And just a great,
Not a problem. Thank
great
you.
personality, and it's just, you've been a real joy to do this show with. And if you need to get your car fixed, I mean, give them a call. It's 236-6160. You can't go wrong. This guy is a master, and so isn't his wife a master also? I don't know, what's the female word for that?
I don't know.
Master sidekick.
Master sidekick.
There we go.
And now Altona's on a map.
Well, Altona is on
Now on the map.
People never knew where it was, but now they'll know through Hometown Cable. I'm Joey Trombley, along with Calvin Castine. Today is Election Day 2013, November 5th, 2013, and we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Talkin' Business.